Okay guys, so I'm gonna show you how I make my cold brew coffee. It's nothing very special, it's not very technical. It's just a simple technique that I saw online. I was looking for a way to make coffee without having so much waste, so I got one of these. This is a French press. I got it off a local store, nothing too special. And with this technique, it takes some time. I usually keep mine for about 14 hours, so you can do 12 hours to 16 hours. I do mine in between, so 14 hours. So I usually like having my coffee sometime in the afternoon, give me a little bit of pickup. If you do like having your coffee in the morning, maybe you time it so that you're able to make it and drink it, when you wake up. But I'm doing mine right now, so that coincides with me drinking it around 12. So for this recipe or technique, what you need is, like I mentioned, the French press. Whatever one you have, this one goes up to 8 cups. You see the measuring on there, right there. This is the company right here, Bialetti, whatever that is. It's glass, which is nice, so that's it cleans nicely. I just use a regular cup for measuring, that's all. And of course, if you want your coffee, I just use a medium roast, Columbia Selects, 100% Arabica, that's how you say it. I've already opened this, so I just keep it in here to make it a little bit fresher. And then bottled water, just to your coffee. And then this is just a glass jar to then store it once it's all done. This is just a pasta sauce that I just used. It's just a leftover. It's big enough to where I can use it for about 4 days. So that's what I usually make. So with this, some people measure theirs, weigh it out. I just kind of eyeball it. So you get your coffee. All right. And then I just pour maybe like a quarter of it. Yeah, about a quarter in there. And then you get that out. Dump it in there. Just measure. So I do want this to be a big batch, so I'll go even more. So that was about a quarter. So we'll go half. I'll put another quarter in there. Quick maths. I think that makes half. Right. Yeah. So when it's kind of at that level for me, that's good. And then next, get your water, and then you just kind of pour it in gently in there around. Typically, for that amount, I use 1 bubble of water. I might put a little bit more. Alright, that's good enough. And we'll also just get a knife. I just use a knife, and I just gently move all of that in there. Don't stir it too hard. Stir. Just do this for a little bit. Make sure it's all covered up. Okay, perfect. Alright, so once you have that done, then you just close it up. I bring it down a little bit just so this is not in the way so much. It gives you a little bit more room. And then once you have this, you make note of your time. Right now it's about 8:42 for me, so this should be ready for me around 12. Not 12. 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock. Okay. So we'll put this in the fridge. And we'll just take this. Nice space, so don't have to worry about it too much. But if your fridge is not too high enough, that might be an issue. So just finding a French press that will be able to fit in your fridge. So that's pretty important. So that one fits in my fridge, so that's pretty good. And then, like I said, I leave mine for 12 hours. So I just make note of what time that will be. So that will be, like I said, around 11 o'clock for me. I take it out and I will see you guys on that next step, okay? So this is after about 12 hours. So I usually take it out of the fridge. It gets kind of hard, so I take it out so that it can just relax. And let's go here. Use that knife again, and you just kind of break that up a little bit. It makes it easier for plunging. So plunging, that's when you just take your French press and you press it down. And then I just clean the edges a little bit. All right. So you get that nice foam on top. And just move it around a little bit on the bottom also. You don't want to stir this too hard. Just move it around. And that, I just put it back in there. Make sure that's not, clogged up or anything. You want that clear because it makes it easier to then plunge it later on. So I just move it down a little bit. And there it is. I let that set for a while and then I'll come back in 10 minutes. All right, so it's been about 12 hours total. I've let the coffee sit out here, just warm up for about 30 more minutes. I went 30 instead of 10. It really doesn't matter. I had some other chores to do, so I was doing that. I just take a look once again, make sure it looks all good. Looks good. Make sure there's not a hard, surface. It makes it a lot easier to plunge when it's, softer like that with the clouds. So then I just turn this, the filter, so it's facing out, and then I take the plunge. You just push down, nice and slow. Nice and slow. And then it gets to the point where you have some resistance. That's it. No need to press it even further. That just gets more of the coffee grounds into the filter, into your coffee. So no need for that. That's good enough. And then you get your container, you put that in there. When I pour mine in, I like to do it slowly and just take my time so I don't get any of the extra particles in there. Get it as clean as possible. So that's how I make my iced coffee. After I put this in here, just close it up. You can store it for up to 4 days, 5 days, and you just sip on that. I'll pour mine in and then show you how I make mine. All right, now to make the final product, we have the coffee in there, iced coffee, well, cold brew, I should say. This is the hard part. Once you've done this part, really, that's all. and the rest of what you do is just up to you. This is how I finish mine up and how I make mine. So I go half of this with half of almond milk. I normally get the one with honey in here, and then I usually sweeten with honey, but I don't have honey right now, so I'm using brown sugar. This is a little bit of a pro tip for people who love salt and, love hypertension. So put some salt on there, just a little bit. It gives it an extra flavor. And ice, of course. All right, this looks like a cocktail. So start with half of that. Put a little bit more. This usually comes out stronger than regular coffee, so you don't put too much. And azúcar, a little bit of sugar. There we go. Trying to do this with one hand. Yeah, that should be enough. I know. I like a little bit of sweetness in my life. What can I say? Mix that in there. Let it dissolve. If I did the honey, I usually melt it before I put this in there. If not, it just clumps up. Taste test. Tastes great. That's it. Just a little bit of salt. And this is the pretty part right here. Oh yeah. Right? Am I right? Pretty. All right. That's my coffee. Mix it. Cheers.